So you might be asking yourself, is it going to be Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? And my response to that is, well, who cares, really? This is echoing kind of a sentiment by Warren Buffett, who chimed in on this very notion in the last election. And I think the wisdom that Warren Buffett had to share, 4 years ago, still holds true. Is that at the end of the day, what decides the future of investment performance and the returns and the wealth that we hope to accumulate, as Americans, as investors, isn't drastically decided, by politicians, and not drastically decided by the president of the United States. Albeit the U.S. president certainly has power and influence and impact. The leader of the free world, as they say. This person is just one of many moving parts, many factors that ultimately affect and resonate and interact with each other in that come together and make out investment returns. Really, the research, the evidence that it suggests is that companies which are fundamentally given or driven by profit and the desire to make a return on their money, and really a mandate to make a return on their money, are going to continue to find ways to do that regardless of who's in office. The political, the spectrum, the playing field may change depending on who is in office, and the challenges that lay ahead may certainly change depending on who is in office. But there's always challenges, and there's always the opportunity for profit. And so, like, these two aren't going away anytime soon. As I look at it, I don't want to dabble too much into the political spectrum. People certainly have their takes on what they think the future holds, and specifically, maybe with the presidency, we see perhaps an embodiment of the culture or the country's values in this person. We stand behind this individual and their character, and either like the person that's leading or representing us, or we think ill of them and wish they weren't leading us. Like we don't find them to be a particularly good representative of who we are, who we want the country to be. But our country, thankfully, at its founding, and I think this is really getting to be just the hallmark of all modern democracies, is that they're just laid out with checks and balances throughout them. And so it would be very difficult for anybody to become to self-proclaim themselves as a king or queen, of the country, and they could just run away with power, and all the rest of us are just held, as hostages, left to, to do whatever their whims are. That's just not the case, thankfully. One of the best things that has taken place is that it's actually become rather difficult, I think, to move about politically. Not impossible, and I'm not a political expert by any means. I'm sure the benefits of these things. Those who are actors, players, and it all, they enjoy the life that they live. But I don't think it's decisive or all that impactful in terms of what your future returns are going to be, or where even the economy goes. Because what decides the economy is all of us individually participating and really just making a way for ourselves, making a living, and our day-to-day decisions of how we can maybe improve our income and see that go higher through the work or the expertise that we do, but then how we choose to take the income that we earn from our living and then apply that in the various products and services that we pursue and buy. And both of these sides are just trying to always constantly work themselves out, and companies are kind of thrown in the mix, and they're looking to try to make money through all of that as well. And I think all in all, we have kind of a remarkable system, not a perfect system, but a remarkable system that does generate real returns, real wealth over time for those people who are willing to have a process, a system, an approach. And so as you look ahead into the election, I would say let's not give it too much weight. There's a beautiful chart that we'll have you take a look at here, is that you'll see that the market has continued to be profitable and provide returns to investors who are willing to be disciplined and wait those returns, regardless of who is in office. It tends to go up, thankfully. Now, there's not always a guarantee that it would go up, but there's reasons for why we would think the markets would go up. Perhaps we can discuss that more in a video separately. But specific to the question of a presidential election, the thing that we're really wanting to address is, does it matter? Does it matter who gets elected? And at least as far as your investments go, especially as far as how you choose to manage your investments, uh, no. Like, if you are feeling inclined to think that if so and so gets elected, I'm going to pull all of my money out of the market and, I don't know, put it in cash or hide it under the mattress, or I'm not sure what you would do with it. Buy all gold. I don't know. But, if that's what you're feeling inclined to do, what I would encourage you is, you need to be working with an advisor who can give you an investment plan, a philosophy, and a process. Or you minimally should go find one. Go find an investment plan, a process, a philosophy that you can execute upon, and continue to stay focused on controlling what you can control, and not allowing the things that are ultimately outside of our control heavily influencing or impacting our decision making, because at the end of the day, it's outside of our control. And so, what are we going to do? What are you going to do about it anyhow? It's outside of your control. Thankfully, the historical record on this is promising. Definitely don't think you should be making any major decisions in your investment plan in light of the election, even with it being a close race, and we'll see who wins. I think either party, thankfully through the checks and balances that we have within our system, they, whatever they want to accomplish, it's very much like trying to roll a big stone uphill. It's not the other way around, where they can just let it loose and they can get to do all this, all this damage or wreak havoc. I just don't think, thankfully, like, that's not how our system works. At least I'm not of the opinion for it to work that way. I think it's rather it's an uphill battle. It's a fight, and hopefully, we will have promising changes into the future, as our complex adaptive system, if you want to throw that term out there, continues to work itself out across all these individual participants. For me, it's a little fun, actually. I think the future is exciting, and just kind of look forward to seeing how it plays out and what develops. And for me, that's we'll see. Election day is just kind of fun. It's fun to get all the hype. I wouldn't get sucked away into it, but it's kind of just fun. We'll just see what happens. And I wouldn't drastically change your plans. Now, we have clients at times who want to move out of the country or something, and to each their own. I certainly don't feel any need for that, and I wouldn't recommend or advise that. I don't think there's any need to give that kind of a weight to election day in our country, or really for most countries. Maybe there would be some in which I'd be a little more nervous about what takes place at election, but I think in our country, we're fine. We're going to be fine regardless. There's a lot going on, a lot of factors here, and thankfully we do have the opportunity for free enterprise and for people to pursue the upside, and to win, to be profitable. And it's not easy. It doesn't happen automatically, and it's not guaranteed, but it has happened, and it still has the promise of happening. And I don't think that's gone away, and I don't think it will go away. I think for good or ill, some of our desires to make money are currently made available. So again, as long as we have our checks and balances, like, that's probably what matters most on that political front. As the chart suggests here too. Look, folks, the market has done well. Returns have come about regardless of who is in office, and regardless of what kind of transpires across the global sphere. Now, perhaps we have some things that could take place, like maybe a third world war if it's nuclear weapons initiated, and we have massive carnage and chaos and devastation through that. Obviously that would change things, and that would become worrisome. And we'll see if maybe we get to be anywhere on the brink of something of that nature. But I don't know, short of probably just complete and total global catastrophe, which nuclear warfare potentially would have that option. I don't think, go to sleep, rest, and just stick to your plan. And then if you don't have a plan, if you're looking for someone to have a plan, consider reaching out. Subscribe to our newsletter. Doctors, Wealth for Doctors, but also consider reaching out to us for an introductory call with Bonafide Finance. Also, Mogny tax experts. We're here to help clients make the best use of their money, to make the best financial decisions, and for you to keep as much money in your pocket as possible, and for you to get as great a return as we think you can get as well, regardless of who's in office. Like, it one way or the other doesn't really change how we're going to go about conducting or doing our business. So last comment I would make is that if you have any concerns about maybe job loss, or if you are really worried about the future, and this hasn't helped to reassure you, I think the next or last thing you can do certainly isn't to pull your money in and out of the markets. Like that I think would be potentially drastic, horrible thing to do. But build up some emergency fund savings. Have a healthy amount of flexibility in your finances. And if needed, and we have a job loss, or we need to make changes to make things work in light of what may happen on the political level, have some healthy reserves. Somewhere between 3 to 6 months, maybe a year's worth of living expenses stored away. And if you don't have that, then have that be your goal. Focus on that. That's something you can control. Make that happen, and that'll take care of you into the future. That'll give you the flexibility that anybody needs in their finances in order to make things work. So again, if you're looking for help in that way, reach out, please. We'd love to. Subscribe to this newsletter. We're doing what we can to really provide great advice and guidance for people on financial topics. And then if you have any suggestions, recommendations, something of particular interest that you'd like to have us chime in on, send us a few notes. We'd love to hear from you. We're looking to really serve the audience we have before us. So until the next time, is it going to be Trump or Kamala? Is it going to be Republican or Democrat? And to me, it's following the words of Warren Buffett and his take on all this. Who cares? Investors are out to make money, and I still think there's plenty of opportunity for that to happen, regardless.